guys, it's Terry Brooks, the real estate matchmaker, and this is Shop Talk episode 13. I am so excited to be back with you guys again this week. I hope everybody is having a great week. We are just waiting for our guest of honor to come on, and as always, we are planning for a very good time on this very good Tuesday. So get your questions ready, get your juice ready. I wish I would have gotten some tea or something like that. I'm feeling a little raspy today, but all's well that ends well. Hey guys, everyone's coming right on. I'm so excited. Is everyone having a great week? Hi. Hey everybody. We are just waiting for our guest of honor to pop on, and then we're going to get this show on the road. So come on and tell me how you guys are feeling today. Yes, thank you for tuning in. I love it when people are tuned in. That's my favorite part. That is my favorite part. So we are interviewing Mr. Oh, he just popped in. All right, and we are going to ask him to join us. Here we go. Hey, how's it going, Pat?
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Nice to see you.
Good, it's very good to see you.
Thanks, good to be seen.
Yeah, well, that's the truth these days, isn't it? So I'm just, we're here, we're getting started, and we're gonna letting some people come on.
Yeah.
We have, people were so excited about this one because of the write-up that we did, but I'm not gonna put the cart before the horse on this one, so we're just going to jump right in now. I am Terry Brooks, the real estate matchmaker, where we specialize in all things commercial leasing and sales. And so, Pat, you're new to the show, but I always let my guests introduce themselves because I don't want to miss a beat. Maybe you're on your way to the moon this evening in addition to running Digital Film Academy. So tell us who you are. Tell us where we can follow you on social media and the name of your business.
Okay, so thank you, first of all. I'm Patrick DiRenna, and I'm the president and founder of Digital Film Academy and also Code Immersives. Those are two schools. Digital Film Academy, I started, it's funny parallels going on here because, and being a director, everything's a story, right? You can't get a simple thing from it. Everything has a story to it. So, I started this school in 2001, right after 9/11 here in New York, where I'm at right now. I just arrived from Atlanta a few days ago. I'll be back in a couple of days. And, we started out right after that, within weeks. And now I'm in Atlanta, and we have this pandemic, and it has a very eerie, similar kind of feel to it. But this is something that we are, unfortunately, oddly accustomed to. But it's odd because I feel needed. I feel like what we do is needed. I feel like the overall psyche, critical mass as they call it, needs outlet. It needs communication. It needs expression. It needs to be heard. It needs to be understood. All of these things that creativity and that media provide, if you do it right. So, so it's just an odd parallel. So, Digital Film Academy is a different kind of animal. We're a media vocational school, right? So the art form is kind of built in. You can't get away from it. But our focus is on people making money in the media industry. And what people have to understand is there's a ton of money in media. It's not like the old days where you're going to be a filmmaker. Oh my God, No. Digital media, digital media is a totally different animal. Because what is media? Media is the manipulation of the public. Do something, love something, hate something, buy something, believe something, don't believe something, usually buy something at the end of it, right? So certainly do something. So how much money is spent, in this world manipulating humanity? It's a bigger industry than people understand, and it's probably the biggest industry because nothing functions without it. So it's not just about narrative storytelling, it's about everything. just about everything we know of, including this, is happening through a form of digital media. So, you know, it's a lot of money. But the trick is, as with most things, you've got to be smart with your time and your money, you know, your two most precious things at this moment, time being number one. Really. So you can't, we have a couple of, you know, mantras. One is very simple, you know, low risk, high reward. We know it, right? So you can't go spending a ton of money being trained and then not have any way to make money. So our programs, we have full financial aid and VA benefits, F1 visas, blah, blah, all that stuff. They're basically a small college. Our programs are reasonable. They're not going to kill you in tuition. $18,000 with a $6,000 Pell Grant for the certificate. So it's like $12,000. $29,000 for our associate program, recently approved in Georgia, Associate of Science in Digital Media, including a full set of kick-ass equipment. 2 cameras, including a 6K Blackmagic camera, full set of lights, full set of sound, all the peripherals, everything, yours to keep. All right?
Wow.
Because, well, and I'll tell you why. And it's all evolutionary. Join the Evolution is one of my trademarks, right? Monetize your media, monetize your skills, monetize your life. All this stuff is our trademarks. So basically what we do now, we're the only school in the world that after you graduate, you have free access to all the equipment and all the facilities for the rest of your life.
Yes.
So let that sink in, everybody, for a second, okay? Think about what that means in terms of money you're not spending, just the dollar value, and then how you can serve yourself and clients and make money. Underbid, get jobs, do a good job. You still have to be professional. Nothing here, you know, stops the responsibility of being a pro, all right? Delivering on time, correctly, good business acumen, all that stuff. Being nice to your clients when you want to slap them, all these things that happen. So I'm sure real estate,
do we do that?
Yeah, real estate's no different, I'm sure, right? All the times you got to smile when you want
no, none of my clients ever make me want.
Yeah. So, you know, all of this. So, but the point is, low risk, high reward. We provide the opportunity to do it. So you come out of our programs, you're not in debt, and you have access to what it turns out to be, over the years, free access, hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment, red cameras, access for free.
Yeah.
Think about that. These, you know, and everything else that goes with it. And now, because of COVID, right, everything is online, including our Atlanta programs. So now, how do you get hands-on training online? So a lot of universities, and I really hate universities, so I'm sorry. You'll deal with that.
It's okay.
You know, they're going to blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is the same, and we'll do that. It's not. So you need equipment in your hands. So I just submitted the program for approval that puts the equipment in your hands, and you own it. It's part of the fees. You don't have to pay extra. And as far as anything outside of the fees and financial aid and grants and all that, it's all there. So you have it. So that's the COVID equivalent of lifetime access to equipment. You've got it. So now you've got skills, you've got equipment. Should you be making money? I mean, should you, as a grown adult, should you be making money? The answer is yes.
I'm going to say yes.
Yes, and you do. Our people do. We have a statistic that I love. It's the financial aid payback rate, right? And the government keeps an eye on universities and schools. And if they consider a school that has a 20% default, meaning 80% of their students are able to pay their loans. They consider that a good school. It's a B average, right? It's okay. But you know, 20% default. When you default on a student loan, you're hurt. You're screwed for 10 years, right?
Right.
Now our payback rate is 95%, right?
Wow.
Yes, and this is, you know, again, started a long time ago, 2001. So 95% because of the formula. And this is the formula you got to follow. Low risk, high reward. The tuition is low, so you're not killing yourself every month trying to make it when the time comes to pay. And you have all this equipment that makes you money with your skills. So it works, you know, and that's what we do. So we're in Atlanta because Atlanta is a media hub. It's what I call, I have my own nickname for Atlanta. And
what is your nickname for Atlanta?
Well, it's the third city at this moment. You guys, I don't know if you're familiar with Second City. Have you heard of Second City?
No, tell me about it.
Oh my God, where have you been? What do you mean you don't?
I don't know, under a rock.
All right, look. So I lived in Chicago for many, many years. That's how I started out in all this. 17 years in Chicago, shot my first film, had a theater company, had all kinds of businesses, restaurants, whatever. So it's known as Second City. Chicago is called Second City. And you guys,
Is
I'm
it? And
sure,
that's terrible because I lived in Hyde Park for 3 years
and you
in
never heard,
Chicago.
did you never hear of the club called Second City?
I
Have you ever heard of the thing
did.
called Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
Okay, well, that came out of Second City. All the players
Wow.
from Belushi and back came from Second City. All of them. All right? So
Okay.
this is the problem that Chicago has, and this is the problem that Atlanta has. And I call it the third city just because Chicago came up first. And this is it. You get this local groundswell of serious talent, right? That's producing serious work. The work coming out of Atlanta is exemplary. It's great.
Yes.
So, and it rises to the top of the industry. And then it gets siphoned off to the east or the west coast, to New York or LA, right? And you keep coming up with more great stuff, and boom, it's gone, right? Because you break out. Now you're world class. You're no longer Atlanta. You're no longer Chicago. Now you're New York. Now you're LA, which means now you're out in the world class.
Right.
And that's why Chicagoans hate LA and New York. And it'll probably come to get some resentment here too, because once you rise high enough, then the bigger markets will come pulling at you, and you'll go. If you have an agent, they're going to boot you there. They're going to send you there. You know, that's the way the career works at this point. So I call Atlanta the third city because I think there is a groundswell of serious talent here. But more than that, just from a business point of view, there is a ton of production scheduled to be done here over the next coming years. So they need talent. You know, people need to be trained. These production companies are still bringing in talent from all over the place. So I'm trying to train people so that they can actually monetize their skills, one of my trademarks, and work in these production companies, plus service clients as an independent. There's a lot of independent money to be made, plus monetize their own media, another trademark, so they can start, you know, getting views that will turn into money for their own web series. And in our program, web TV production is one of the courses. So you will create a pilot, a web pilot, that will turn into a series that you know how to monetize. You know,
Yeah, and all of this is a part of, this is while they're going to school, they're doing all of this.
Well, this is the school, yes. This is part of the curriculum.
This is, wow.
It has to happen. I mean, it has to happen for the program, but also has to happen for your career, for your life. So, you know, and we have graduate students that have gone on to really, this is, sorry, shouldn't do that, right? We have graduate students that really have gone on to some great things. We have Oscar winners, you know, Brad Bailey, his feature film, short film, won an Oscar. And his latest is called Hale, H-A-L-E. You should check it out. And and he's just started last year because you have lifetime access to equipment for free. So he came to us last year, even though he graduated like 5 years ago. And he started using our equipment to do a documentary about police brutality, right? On African Americans, and this was a year he started this. And he's got it's a fantastic piece so far. He's almost done. He's done it with our equipment, you know. So, you know, the point.
I mean, all of that is good. So, I mean, that's like all my questions, Pat. But it's good to know. And you mentioned earlier that it's kind of like the parallel of when you began, you know, September 11 and what's going on here. And I think you're spot on when you said people need art, you know, now more than ever, because you need that expression, you need that creativity, you need a place to do it, right? Because there are all these creators, especially in a market like Atlanta, where it's all of this untapped potential, but not necessarily. So people are coming here to film because Atlanta is very welcoming, you know, for that kind of use. But as far as the training, there's not a lot of that in this space. So with that, like I know you mentioned that they get their own camera with their tuition, and then they still have access to all of the equipment. Having access, was that always a part of?
Absolutely, from
That
day
was
one.
always a part of it.
No one else does it because you don't have to. This is not about just following the regulations. This is about doing the right thing. This is my school, and I have one cell phone number, and I've always had it. And every student who's ever come to my school ever has my cell phone number. Right?
How beautiful is that?
You know, I know them from before their kids and marriages and whatever, divorces, the whole bit, right? So, you know, I have a lot of people that can call me, and when they need to, they do. It's a joke we have, running joke, is we'll do anything except host bail, right? When you get your one phone, when you get your one phone call, when you get your one phone call, my number is
Yeah,
not
use
it,
it
all right?
wisely.
Yes, not for me, okay?
So how
Anything
do
else?
you manage? Yeah, so how do you manage both? Because you're back and forth from to New York and Atlanta. I know now you're switching to a virtual curriculum, but how do you manage two brick and mortar spaces, while you're actively teaching and traveling between the two? And
And I'm
you
trying to
recently
retire. Let's not forget, I'm trying to retire.
and you're trying to retire? Oh my goodness. So tell us how you do it all, like, and getting into, a brick and mortar space is no easy feat, especially in the creative industry. There's a lot of ducks in a row that you have to have before people say, yeah, I'll give you creatives my building to use, So tell us about the journey to, hey, I need a space for this, getting into a brick and mortar space, anything, maybe one or two tips you might give a creative who says, hey, I want to open a film school, or, I'm ready to have
Oh,
my own studio.
don't.
And you said don't?
Yeah. First of all, don't compete with me, first of all. And secondly,
I know that's right, Pat.
I mean, and it's just so much more of a labor of love than you realize. So if you wanted to be a media maker and open a film school, you can't do it. My directing has been put aside now for quite a while because I can't.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll do it again. I keep myself sane. I have lots of things. I'm writing. I'm ready. I'll get to it. And hopefully I'll get to it in Atlanta. That's one of the things I'm trying to do, is get into an environment that's a little more freer, because New York is very, very tense.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm trying to get into an environment that's a little freer and, feel like I can breathe and be more creative as I am working, which I think I can do there. It's just a feeling I have. Let me say one thing before I forget.
Yes.
Everything I do is emotionally based. I know I'm a businessman and I have this going there, but it's all about emotional content for me. Life is about it's just a series of emotional events. So one of the things that the media people provide, all right, is a grounding, because what's happening in Atlanta now, what's happening in a lot of places in the country, is the same thing that happened in 9/11 in New York. Is confusion, inner confusion everywhere. It hit, the planes hit, things happened, smoke, people covered, weeks and weeks. What the hell? What happened? And it's kind of the same thing what's happening with this virus. And Atlanta's, Georgia's in a bit of a situation with this to start with. So there's a lot of confusion, all right? Now, one of the things that the media people bring, all right, for themselves as they do it and for others, is grounding. Stops the spinning a little bit, all right? Because you're paying attention to the media, you stop and you start thinking. You haven't really thought in a while because all this stuff is coming at you. So you haven't had peace of mind to think. So it serves a real emotional purpose of just grounding everything, stopping everything, slowing everything down a little bit, right? And that's a very, very important thing for healing, for recovering. You hurt yourself, a muscle or whatever, you can't, what do you have to do? You have to stop. You have to stop.
Yeah.
You just got to stop and let it start healing. So, all right, anyway. So you were talking about brick and
No, I
mortars
love
and all
that.
that.
Thank you for that. It's true. It's true. I even see it in my industry in commercial real estate. Nothing looks the same anymore. And I mostly do, retail and office space. And I hear people say, retail is dead. We just talked about this on another podcast. Retail is dead, or, office space is dead, when really it's not. Everything has to be reimagined. And in order to reimagine it, we need to stop, heal, and figure out what it's going to look like moving forward. So no, I love that you brought this up. So tell us about your students. Who is your student? Who is ideal? Someone that you say, okay, you're ready for Digital Film Academy.
Well, look, a student just needs to, I mean, as far as the state's concerned, you have to have a minimum of a high school diploma or equivalent. That's it. That's just, that box has to be checked. No one has any options. Above and beyond that, as a person, You need to be able to, your life has to be in a way where you can fully dedicate yourself for 10 months or so. So, you know, if you're going through a divorce or whatever, get that all done first. You can't be divided if you, and it's difficult now because people are in a situation. You have children, they're in school, they're out of school. It's, you know, so you have to put yourself in a position where you can perform, you can function, you can learn. Because this is a distinction that I'm always making with people. It's our job to teach, and it's whose job to learn, which means you've got to be the student, which means you've got to be prepared, you've got to be calm, you've got to be fed, watered, rested, clear-minded, you know, and ready to go, and driven, and hungry, and happy, and excited, and all that stuff.
Yes.
And ready, you know. So that's really, that's it. That's what we need. Focused people who will follow the program, because the program works. We have wonderful formulas that I've created that work, that will get you directing, that will get you to do your primary function. And you have one job, and your job is to get the audience to feel what you want them to feel. That's your job. That's it. It boils down to that. But in order to do that, your mind has to be clear enough. You need to know what you want the audience to feel, not just what's a good shot. Oh, this is a good shot, or that was interesting. Forget that. I want them scared. So if I really want them scared, you always start in the opposite. I'm going to get them really calm and happy because I'm going to scare the crap out of them. And when I scare the crap out of them, I want them to be relaxed first. And then you start to build. Now, how do I relax people? Oh, you know, a little calmness, pretty faces, puppies, nice sound, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly somebody's head is chopped off, you know, and lands in the salad bowl.
It's like, whoa.
Whatever. Well, that's typical horror formula. You know, it's a total formula. So, you know, anyway, so it's clarity. It's emotional clarity. You need emotional clarity. If you have it, you'll be able to build on it and be able to be effective. And
Perfect.
yeah.
Now, do you take, so how large is your space in New York, and how large is your space in Atlanta?
Okay, they're about the same. I have about 14,000 feet here in New York. We're one block off Times Square in the Film Center building. And that doesn't sound like much, right? College campuses and all that. But, you know, 14,000 feet, one block from Times Square is no joke.
That, I mean, that's serious. That's serious real estate. 14,000 square feet, you know, in Times Square. That's major.
Right. It is. So, you know, and we've grown into that. And I've been duking it out with the landlord even today. That's one of the reasons I came back here, is because everything's different. So, you know, it's time to reimagine all this stuff. And I'm getting into hardcore, hardball real estate stuff, which I'm really not good at. But the danger with me is,
good thing you know someone who is.
Yeah, well, you know what? But this is New York, and whatever the rules are here. The danger with me is I'll be like, oh, gee, and then I'll hit this wall. I'll hit this point where I'm fed up, and then the Brooklyn comes out, and I'm just like, you know what? Certain curse words, and I'm gone.
Bleep,
do what
bleep.
you want. Yeah, bleep, bleep.
Yeah.
I'm out. And, you know, I'm approaching that point, so I got to be careful with these guys. Now, in Atlanta is a different story. The journey there to the space was interesting. I wanted to replicate what I have here. Now, I live around the corner from the school here. So the neighborhood here in off Times Square, one block, is called Hell's Kitchen, right? It's a well-known neighborhood. So I live on 9th Avenue, 47th Street, and the school is on 9th Avenue and 45th Street. So I walk back and forth. And I wanted to do the same thing there. So I first had a lease this close, you know how it is to be signed, at the Healy Building, which I like the Healy Building very much. If you go down, they've got this high ceiling, open space, and all that. And I was just about to contract with that, but you know, I had a realtor who dragged his feet a little bit, and things happened, and I lost it, and I was really unhappy. But the owner is a very nice fellow. Also has the 10 Park Place, which is right down the street from the Healy Building, right across the street from Woodruff Park, and GSU has that brand new media building right across the street. So now my Digital Film Academy LED sign is right across the street from their building. So we'll see how that flies. So that's where it is. It's right down there. So he felt bad, and he has an empty space. And right now, you know, landlords will do a lot to get spaces filled.
Yeah.
I have the entire bottom level at an excellent rate that I believe. I'm not going to get into specifics, but it's an excellent rate, and I'm there for as long as I want to be there. And we'll see how long I want to be there. I'll decide that as each 7 or 8 months goes by. At some point, I would like to have my own building, in
Yeah.
downtown Atlanta. But we'll see how downtown goes. Downtown is a funny place. So I replicated my situation in New York. I live right around the corner from 10 Park Place. I'm right by there, walking distance, 90-second walk, to the office. So yeah.
It's beautiful. And I think downtown's really gonna, I think it's really gonna sprout, especially over the next 5 to 15 years. You have the South Downtown project, you have Summer Hill right here, you have the underground development that's here in downtown that they have, some strategic plans for. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the downtown, just to kind of see what it's gonna look like over the next
Well,
decade.
that could be, I don't know. I know that a lot of things have been in the work for a long time. I could tell you that
Yeah,
5 to
that's true.
15 years from now, I'm dead. I'm not on this earth, all right? So
No way.
I need, no, come on, let's be real. I need to, maybe not 5 years, but, all things must pass. I was just listening to George Harrison before. And,
That's true.
so look, so I'm not waiting 5 or 15 years for anything, right? So we need to, something needs to give. I want to play a part in that because I feel like I have this vision, and this is the thing with me, right? I'm completely mission oriented. I have a vision, and then I'm just obsessed until it happens, until I make it happen. That's just the way it is. I think about it all the time. I do it all the time. I work 24/7 for 5 years to make it happen. Doesn't matter. I'm on a mission. That's it. So the mission here is to have my people shooting all around downtown Atlanta, quality footage, quality videos in Woodruff Park with all these other people. And look, let's just be real. There's all these unfortunate homeless people. There's drug addiction. There's all this crime going on. There's shootings. There's all this stuff. Now, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm not a delicate flower about this, okay? I mean, so it's there. So, but if I can get our trained people out there with the equipment shooting, things will change. Things will naturally change. The attention from other places, the attention from other people, things will just be positive. Even the people there will notice. And who knows what will come up. And I'll be damned if there isn't some piece of wonderful talent lost in this mess of people. Okay? That there's some gem that could be discovered there. I wouldn't doubt it. A singer or something. I just wouldn't doubt it. And life has put them there. And, you just got to keep plugging away because you don't know what's going to turn up,
Yeah, no, I love that. And that's a part of why I chose this path in commercial real estate, because you truly get to help shape neighborhoods and, the people's lives within those neighborhoods, because you can go in and, you can put, what they call it, a whole food paycheck grocery store, or you can put a liquor store, or you can put a school, or you can put a digital film academy. So it really gives you an opportunity to give the people what they want, what they need, and like you said, search for the bright spots, right? So and bring it and really bring that out in the community and just the people, because like you said, at some point everything must pass, and what is it going to look like when we're not here anymore? Is it something that we're going to feel good about?
Well, you know what, I mean, that's all very good, and I commend you for all that, but if I have to tell you, once I'm gone, my time's done.
I get that too, though. Do what you can while you're here. I totally get that.
Well, it's always cracked me up about marriage ceremonies, till death do us part. But yet when people are dying, they're still being buried together. It's all a whole weird thing to me. I don't quite get it. Anyway.
In this life. So what's your purpose? What's the purpose behind Digital Film Academy? And you touched on it, but is there like a more of like a purpose, and maybe some like, and was this always a passion of yours? Were you always like an entrepreneurial little kid running around?
Oh my God, I saw that question. Yeah. So listen, I've always been an entrepreneur, but as a kid, I was a total mess. All right, forget that. I was twitching, stuttering. I was a total mess. So I typical Brooklyn kid. When you're like that, you just get your ass kicked every day, which I did for a number of years. So but then all of a sudden, something happened at like 12, 11 years old. Boom! I just sprouted up. I was suddenly fast as the wind on a track team, and when football, blah blah blah. It was crazy. It happened like in a year. So, but I've always been a worker, and I've always hated working for people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a lot of time as a kid alone by myself all the time. So I still am. I still don't like people that much, really. I love dealing with them on a mission, but in terms of just like, oh, let's hang out, whatever, I don't really, I really
I
don't.
get it.
My imagination of who you are is probably so much better than who you are. So just
Okay.
let me have that. Right? So, so being alone a lot, I just had these fantasies and visions. And then as I started to grow up and work, I was like, you know what? I'm doing this, but what if I did this myself? Had a construction job, right? As a teenager, typical Brooklyn
Mm-hmm.
Italian kid, got a construction job. And within 3 months, I had a construction business. I was like, all I did was get a truck and a friend, and there was all
Right.
this work going on. And then suddenly I was in business, and I was making a
Yeah.
lot more money. And said, okay. And I work like a dog anyway. So there you go. And then
There you
that
go.
kind of set it up for me. So I never really wanted to have jobs, and I would just think of what's next, what's next. And then for this particular one, it was very weird. I actually shot a film in upstate New York. This is a long, long time ago, because I'm old, right? It was a long, long time ago during the Bosnian War when Clinton, I think, was president. And there was a town in upstate New York. I'll never forget this. And what they did was they relocated these people from Bosnia, some Serbs and some Croats. And these people were mortal enemies, right? Home.
Right.
And they
Right.
stuck them in the same town with the donut-eating, little police force of friendly cops. And these guys fought war. These guys raped and murdered their neighbors'
Wow.
families. This was a mess, right? And so they're killing each other in this little town, right? And one of the people there was a friend of mine who actually won an Oscar for Amir Kusturica many years ago for international film. And he had this woman who had an incredible story. Zehra, Z-E-H-R-A, Zehra was her name. And so we shot this documentary about her. And what happened was we went there, and the teenagers, right, they're the only ones the kids and the teenagers have a chance. The others, the grown-ups, they're just going to
Right.
go until they're dead. They were doing it there, they're going to do it here, right? So they love movies. Everybody loves movies, especially in America. They're in America, movies, right? They don't even know
Mm-hmm.
really what it means, but they just love it. So I said, okay, look, if you're going to work on this film, then you're going to shut up, my typical Brooklyn way, and you're going to help
Yeah.
each other, okay? You're both going to carry the ladders. You're both going to work with the lights. You're both going to do as you're told, and that's it. And they did it, right? And that's
Wow.
again, that was just a little beginning of. So after that, all is over, and then the day is over, and they're in school. They're no longer fighting each other because they got to be back on the job, right? So it
Right.
was just the beginning, just a little beginning of calming stuff, right? And that always stuck with me, that there's something here, there's a love of this craft that Americans have, or we have in America, or people have all over the world, I don't know, but there's something about this art form that can pull people together on the set. The set's like this weird little holy spot, right? This common ground, holy oasis. So my vision is to earn a good living, healing, fixing, enlightening, empowering, training, and providing services. And it's a ripple effect. I'm a big believer in that. You throw in the pebble, and then you have to watch the ripples. So if people can get skilled, they can become professional, their positive contribution will spread to satisfy clients and their work. And who will that affect? Who will that
Yes.
inspire? And it goes and goes and goes. Okay, there you go.
I mean, that answered my question. That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. So you can tell everything leads back to the source, kind of. Yeah, when you
I'm
have
the
that ripple effect, and people can say this is where it came from. This is the impact that they've made. So
well, we
speaking
are
of
willing.
impact.
We're willing to be. I'm willing to be the pebble, right? That's what it comes down
Yes,
to. Right?
and someone has to be. Someone has to be. That's how you create
Well, don't
change.
have to be. You got to choose to be. Really.
Well, yes, that is true. That is true. It is a choice, but in order for it to happen, someone has to make that choice. Um, So with that being said, I know you mentioned that you just got approved for the associates program here and you just submitted the virtual curriculum. Is there anything else that kind of came out of the pandemic? Like anything that you've learned, any big lesson?
Well, gosh.
Or major win?
Well, I mean, in terms of the pandemic in general, it's just, look, this is not the last time this is going to happen. All right, we have to. I mean, it's a reinforcement of things that I know, or at least I feel that I know, that I know to me, if that makes any sense, that are facts for me. And there have been all kinds of viruses before, and they're getting worse, and they're going to get worse. And if human behavior doesn't change on a global scale, we have no reason to believe suddenly this is going to go away. Why the hell would we do that? You keep throwing matches on dry wood, and suddenly you think someday it's not going to catch fire. So, you know, so we'll see. I'm really observing the reactions to this. If everything goes back to business as usual, just to hear those phrases, get back to normal, get back to normal. Normal got us in this spot.
Yes, it did.
So let's get back to normal. So I pay attention to this stuff. I'm an artist at heart, so I hear things that people don't hear. And you know, so we'll see. We'll see. It's not, this is what it is and we have to deal with it. But really what happens afterwards is really going to tell the story of humanity. Okay? So there you go. I'm a very deep thinker for a Brooklyn kid. I really am. I'm not supposed to.
Well, you're no. I mean, this is by far one of the best interviews I've had. So thank you so much for this. Like I feel like I haven't had to ask like a question.
No,
You've answered like all my questions.
I have a list here from you, so go ahead, pick one.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I open it up to. So we'll keep talking, but I also want to open it up to our audience. We have about 15 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask Patrick, either about the brick and mortar spaces, about the school, about his background, maybe if he's open to it, you might get some tips on. Yes, maybe some tips on how you guys can perfect your media while you have his ear. So one of the other questions that I had was, I'm looking over this list. Let me see.
What number do you want?
Yeah, so is there going to be any kind of grand reopening?
Oh, probably not. I mean, I don't consider that we ever have actually officially opened because we got here with the pandemic and everything is shut. So we don't need a reopening. We just want to, I just want people to be able to come clear-minded without worrying about anything. And, and then we will start. I can tell you right now that we're not doing any classes this term live. Everything's going to be online. People who are local can come in and access equipment when they need to, take it out and so forth. Once we get the approval for the equipment, that's a new thing that I just submitted. So it's going to probably take about 30 days or so for the associate degrees to be able to get their own equipment. So for the people who are currently in the associate degrees, they have the opportunity to say, hey, I want to do that. You didn't have that when I signed up. Now you have it. So we'll be able to transfer them over and put them in that and make sure they get the equipment. So, we can, this is the thing. It's my school. So once I go through all the hoops, which I've done, now it's a private school. So I can do things the way I want to do things. And I always turn it back on the student by giving them everything they need. Because you got everything you need. So you better do something, right? You better do something. I'm giving it to you. So, because, during this pandemic, we have people who enrolled for live training. And then the pandemic hit and it went virtual. And they're like, okay, this is nice, but I really was looking forward to being on the set and which is perfectly reasonable. So what do you do? What do you do? You don't shut them out. I just tell them, look, continue. When you're all done, I am telling you that you can come back and take any course you want at no charge at any time. Come back and take the camera class so you can be on the set. Come back, take the sound so you can be on the set. Come back and take the animation. Come back and take the web TV production or the documentary so you can make it. No charge. Just come back and do it. Don't come back and play. Come back and do
Right.
it, right? This is my thing. You've got to be serious when you do stuff. So, and this is how I answer everything. If you want to do something, you do it. I'm going to give you every opportunity to do it. Free equipment for the rest of your life after you graduate, whatever. Now do it. So,
Wow, you can't beat that. So we had two questions come in. So it says, can you share how you've remained resilient throughout the years? And then the other question was, what is the tuition like?
okay, so the first one, how have I remained resilient? So first of all,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for perceiving me as resilient. That's very nice. I don't know if I actually am or not. I'm kind of dogged, right? I just get in it and I stick to it. But my mind is in such a way that what are the options? You get knocked down and you get up. Success is
Yep.
getting up one more time and you fall down. Even if you fall down 100 times, you get up 101 and suddenly, oh, look, you're an instant success. But
Yeah.
so you just have to, I mean, when you, if you fail, if you give up, what then? What do you do? I mean, do you literally go, I mean, what do you do? You can't stop. At least I can't stop. You know,
Yeah, I can't stop. I can't
because
stop
it's
either.
because failure has just got such an awful taste to it. I can't live that way. So, you know, either I have to take a break and then come back or whatever, but you know, just and I guess the core of it is you know in your heart you're doing the right thing. That's the thing. If you know that you've been kind of bullshitting for somebody or whatever, then
Mm-hmm.
you know you might take the out just so you can get away
Mm-hmm.
from what might happen once you get caught. But if you
Right.
just stay honest, because at my point I can't remember lies anyway, right? So I just got to be truthful, right? So it's just there. So if you believe in your heart and what you're doing, you will absolutely be resilient. I mean, raising a kid is one of the toughest things in the world. What are you going to do when this kid disappoints you 1, 2, 3, 4 times? You're going to you can't. What are you going
Right.
to do? You just got to keep going, right? Anyway, what was
That's
the
true.
second question? I hope that was an answer.
So no, it's beautiful. What is tuition like? And someone put in there, they said, can't stop, won't stop, like Puff Daddy.
Oh, okay. So you can tell I'm not exactly a Puff Daddy aficionado, right? So, but if he said that, I agree, you know? If that's what
Yeah.
it is, I agree totally, you know?
Yeah, can't stop, won't stop. So the other question was about tuition, and then we had another one come in that says, so local students can rent out equipment for virtual assignments, even though the pandemic is preventing live classes.
That is correct, but take out the word rent because you're not paying, right? So you can access the equipment. That is correct. Now, tuition costs. So our certificate programs, I really simplified it. All certificate programs are $17,995 total. Period. End of story. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, you can get a Pell Grant for $6,000 off of that, and that includes free access to equipment and all that. The associate degree program with the equipment that is yours to keep is 29 even or 29,885 or something like that, but it includes everything, right?
Wow.
And that's reasonable. It's reasonable. I mean, I know what other schools charge, and they just don't have to. That's the other thing. And then you end up outdated because your tenured professor hasn't produced anything in God knows how long, and you owe all this money, and you have no way to make money. It's just bad, bad, and bad. Anyway, what's the next
It's
question?
not setting the students up for success.
It is not, but they don't care because that's not required. But as a person, as my school, it's required. That's why you have my cell phone. I don't have people screaming at me. I hope they don't start screaming at me. Knock on wood, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, but this is it. You've got to set people up for success. The thing with me is people have got to be glad that they ran into me. And you know, I'm from come from a basic, lower middle class, even poor family when I was a kid. So you know, this money is not huge money when it comes to some people spending stupid hundreds of thousands of dollars on their education. But I still consider it serious money. And if I'm going to look a person in the eye, which I do all the time, and their parents, and
Mm-hmm.
say, give me, my school, this money, these thousands of dollars, then I've got to be able to come across. I've got to be able to perform. I got to be able to make them happy. And you have to use that with your clients. You really do.
Yeah.
You got to bend over backwards to make your clients happy. Not that they can abuse you, but give them what they want, give them what they need, so you have legs to stand on when you finally say, you know what, enough from you. All right, I've
Yeah.
done this, and this. Now you too far. Anyway, go ahead.
I love that. I love that. So you guys, put any last questions. We have about 5 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions or comments, or you just want to tap those hearts because you're loving what Mr. Patrick is talking about, go ahead and do that. And then, is there any tips? So while I have you, because all my questions are gone, you did it. It's great. So are there any tips? Because for me, I'm really passionate about commercial real estate, and I definitely want to start to get, that's one of the reasons I do Shop Talk, because it was born out of the pandemic. I said, I need a way to continue to connect with the businesses who I've worked with, businesses who I want to work with, or like businesses that I want to work with. How can I do that while, promoting their business? I want everybody to be successful. So like, how can I highlight? So Shop Talk was born. It's
Okay.
my small business highlight series. If I was going to continue to document Shop Talk, or some tips I can do to film or highlight small businesses and commercial real estate. Also, because it's a great profession and I want to recruit more people
Okay,
to
okay.
it.
But listen, it all comes down to one thing. First of all, let me just get this out, if I may. Digitalfilmacademy.edu, if I didn't say that, is the website.
Yes.
Codeimmersives.com is our coding site, which we didn't talk about, but just go there if you want a career in coding. We're the only Amazon Academy in the whole East Coast. You can go check out that website, codeimmersives.com, digitalfilmacademy.edu. Now, look, everything comes down to the same thing. It's emotional content, right?
Mm-hmm.
You as director, because it's all about directing. You're directing your life, you're directing your career, you're directing everything, all right? I'm directing my responses because I'm trying to be understood, right? I'm trying to keep it to a point where people can get it. There's no speech comprehension center in the human brain. Nothing to tell anybody what people mean, which is why you can lie and spin and have, double entendres and have irony and all this stuff, right? But the primary source of communication is facial expression, right? You can tell by looking in somebody's eyes normally, not necessarily if they're truthful, but what they're trying to emote, whether they're sad, they're happy, they're confused. So look, it's all about emotional content. You need to decide what you want your audience to feel. If your audience is a client who has a property that he wants to sell or rent, or she wants to sell or rent, or your client is someone where she needs to obtain a property, who are they and what do you want them to feel? And then you can just make them feel it. If they need to feel calm and that they're taken care of and that someone's going to be normal with them and not bullshit around and not say five things and just listen. The best thing you can do to bond with people is to shut up and listen, because people need to speak. Too many people feel they haven't been heard now. They got all this media, all this stuff coming at them. And I do this all the time with people. I ask them one question and I just sit back. And with everything I hear, you will learn everything you need to know about how they work, how their mind works, what they need to hear, and if you are paying attention, if you're that kind of person who's sensitive to your surroundings and to the other person, you'll understand that this person is worried, this person is feeling alone, right? Feeling vulnerable, or this person's, being very bravado. They know everything, right? And I want this, so do this, do that, right?
Right.
And you got to realize that this person is covering up something they really don't, right? And then you figure out how to respond to them. And you say, look, okay, this is what you want, this is what you say, but I'm telling you, that's my expertise that you're paying for. Let me have a day and figure out an alternative plan, and tell me what you think, because I can do this for you, but not the way you say. Because if it could be done that way, obviously you're so capable, you would have done it already. Right?
That's right.
So,
That is right.
So the point is to get in touch first with yourself, what you want the audience to feel, and then who they are. Once you figure out who they are and what you want them to feel, now you can get them there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, and that's great advice. And I know there are other commercial realtors and leasing agents on the live with us too, from all around the country. I saw a couple people pop in, so that is super helpful because we always want to be able to connect with potential customers or just to build relationships in general. So I canvas. That's a part of, I've stopped doing it for a really long time, but now I do. And I either will do it, so canvassing is where you can go door to door, or maybe you're doing like social
That's rough.
media.
That's rough.
Yes, social media, it is rough, but it gives me a chance to connect with people in person, and so they can see my face, they can hear my voice, because otherwise I'm just a name and a face, which is why like everybody else, I beefed up my social media, because I can't get out there like that, and
Right.
not everybody feels comfortable, and I only do it if I can do it safely. But I think it's something about, to your point, when you can hear my voice, automatically people know whether they'll work with me or not. Like they're like, no, her voice is too, because people hear with their heart. So when they're like, no, she's too bubbly, can't take that energy, or
Well, you know what?
so
That's unfortunate that they should be so simple-minded. They got to hear the message, hear the words, and really the
yeah,
key is not what a person says, but how they listen. That's what I
yeah,
pay attention to. If somebody asks me something, and I'm in the middle of my first 4 words, and they are boom, right off, boom, cut me off, and they keep going with something else, that's a huge flag to me that this person has no interest in hearing anything from anybody. They need to talk. They need a psychiatrist to sit there and go, so tell me. And that's it. Just tell me, dot, dot, dot. And then just let it go. Right?
just rip.
Right. So listen, on one point, as far as canvassing and stuff, you see, it's funny because in terms of our school and our students, we do the opposite mentality. I don't want people knocking on doors or whatever. Part of our program is creating your presence as a professional. Career portfolio. We just had 3 Oscar winners in a row come to our classes this week. So
Congratulations.
thanks. But so you will create a website that's SEO built, right? I hope people understand what that is. So what our philosophy, and this is my philosophy, unfortunately the school very much reflects me, good or bad, whatever.
Yes,
But
it's your school.
is to become, the philosophy is for you to become someone to know, right? Not to go knocking on doors, but you have every answer to every production problem anyone has, because you have access to free equipment, you have skills, you have access to all these people through the student portal who could do all these things. So you just don't say no. And you can always give the best price because nobody's paying for anything, whether it's you, a student you're working with, or anything. So you have got the answer. You are someone to know. So you get your site up, you have all these samples of work, people come to you with their problems, and you are a godsend. And that's how you handle yourself. People come to you. Imagine the difference your life is going to be when people come knocking on, that's me knocking on the door.
Yes, no, I love it. I'm knocking too.
When people come knocking on your door for help. And that's how it's structured. Anyway.
No, that's great. So take that with you, you guys. You become someone to know. That is powerful, and I am going to try to implement that even more so in my work, because it is rough, especially in Georgia heat. It's hot outside. But I like that, being like the go-to source where, if somebody has a question about anything, I know I have an answer, or at least know how to get it for them. That's amazing. Well, Pat, this has been so good. Do you have any last words for the audience?
Look, all I can say is, stay clear-minded. Emotional clarity is key to life, all right? It'll bring you peace of mind. It'll enable you to plan. So just always think about what you want the other person or the other entity to feel. Always keep that in mind, and then you'll be able to strategize and converse and manipulate and influence people. If anybody wants to email me, you're welcome to do so. It's simply patrick@digitalfilmacademy.edu. I'm happy to hear from you. If anybody has any production questions, I have all kinds of tips on how to create a scene. It's very simple, real quick. Get the pinnacle moment of the scene, the reason the scene exists. Somebody discovers something, they're shocked, they're heartbroken, or whatever, or they're thrilled, it's a wonderful epiphany, whatever it is. Take it and start the scene in the opposite. If it's a moment of heartache discovery, for instance, because I'm very dramatic, I'm not a whole comical guy, right?
Yes.
Then you start at the opposite, where the scene starts lighthearted and whatever, right? Or if it starts off lighthearted, then the scene starts off in a total mess. It's a almost nervous breakdown mess, and they end up in heaven, you know, in some
Yes.
psychological heaven. And that journey is the journey for the audience. It has to happen. And extend your shots, because the more the emotional condition establishes and changes in the shot, the more of a live experience it is for the audience. Very, very important.
So
Okay?
when you say extend your shots, you mean like my camera should be further away?
No, I don't mean that. I mean the shot needs to run longer, all right?
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so that it starts in one way and goes the other. The camera needs to be active. It needs to move in a way that doesn't disturb the audience, right? And then you start off in one emotional condition, you go to another, and it's in the shot, and it feels live. And it is live, even though it's recorded and viewed later. Very important, okay? But it takes clarity. Emotional clarity is king. Get your script, write down the emotional content in the margins. You have now rewritten the script, essentially. You could throw it away. It could be the Old West, outer space, whatever. You've got the emotional content. It's a story of betrayal. It's a story of love. It's a story of triumph. It's blah, 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 whatever, right? And this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. It happens to be physically how it happens, but this is what happens. And now, once you have that, you can start putting together your production. You shouldn't speak to anybody about anything until the director has emotionally identified the script. All right, that's it. I'm done.
That's great. And you guys can, there's so many gems. I'm going to have to go back and watch this. This is so good. Thank you so much, Pat.
You're
You
welcome.
guys
Thank
can
you.
follow them at Digital Film Academy on Instagram. Can you repeat your websites for us one more time?
Sure, digitalfilmacademy.edu and codeimmersives.com. And for Instagram, right, I have to give you some sort of information for Instagram because I don't
I
do
have
that.
it.
All right,
Yeah.
share it
So
with everybody, please, because I
yep.
have my person who does that, Fernanda, and I don't.
No problem. Yep, I have that. And if you guys go to the top left-hand corner of this live, you'll see two little circles. I'm Terry Brooks, the real estate matchmaker, and the other one is for Digital Film Academy. But I'll also share that when I upload this video. So thank you so much, Pat.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate your time. Thank you guys for joining and staying and for your great questions.
Hell
Again,
yeah.
you got his email address. Thank you. That was so gracious of you. And as always, if there's anything that I can answer commercial real estate related, feel free to DM me, call me. My number has also not changed for a decade. So, call me, text me. I'm happy to help and help you guys get into spaces that will suit your needs and help landlords. If you guys are landlords, help you fill a space with a great tenant that has some staying power. And we will see you next week, Tuesday at 6 o'clock for Shop Talk episode 14.
Thank you all
Thank you,
very much.
Pat. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.